Hello guys, my name is Alex and welcome back for AOR, this time for the Austrian Grand Prix. And at the moment you can see the drivers table after the first 8 rounds. We currently sit in P5, just 25 points behind Michael, who's doing an amazing job at the moment. He's really consistent and really fast. So yeah, we have to improve in order to stay close or even close the gap and maybe overtake him and the other cars. And yeah, I think if we can deliver everything, and if we have a bit of luck on our side, we might have a chance. And coming into this round, I was quite happy with the pace. I wasn't entirely happy with my setup because I had to use a setup which works especially good in the race, and so I was compromising it a little bit in qualifying. And currently you can see a solid lap in training. I think I could probably find a few, one maybe 2 tenths in this lap, but in general I was quite happy with it. And the secret of this track and many others is to use the maximum space on the track available, because the corners on this track aren't really that difficult to drive. It's just about using that little bit more of track to just take more speed through the corners, especially on in this left-hander. You really have to be very quick there in order to have a good exit and gain the time on the straight. And actually the third sector can be tricky depending on your setup. If you have a really aggressive setup, you can get a lot of oversteer there, but we managed it quite nice. And I think it was a 0.1 at the end, which is not too bad. I think I can do a 0 or a 9 with a completely perfect lap. But coming into the real qualifying, I compromised my setup a bit, but as you can see, the turn 1 was not good or really bad, to be honest. I lost quite a lot of time there. I don't really know what happened, and yeah, we just lost a lot of time. The delta tells us that we are currently on a 0.5 around, which was not actually my target time. My target was around a 0.3, and I think the second sector wasn't too bad. There's always time to find, but especially in the first and third sector I lost a lot of time. And coming into this left-hander, we try to use as much of the track as possible, as I said, and coming into the last few corners I knew I could find a few tenths there, and we turn in unfortunately a little bit too early, which cost us our lap. I think we could improve by, I think, at least 1/10, and so we have to start in P8, which is not ideal, but as I said, I chose a setup which is working really good in quali, so let's see what we can do. We have 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. We get a decent launch off the line. We don't really lose too much time compared to the cars ahead. We have to be really careful because it's easy to get damage early on, as we have a little bit of contact with Flying Finn, but not too major. And now we are going up the straight, and let's see, are we able to make any kind of move? We go for the outside, but although there can be quite a bit of grip, we don't really are able to capitalize on that, and so we just stay in P8, which is not too bad. No damage so far, and we didn't really lose a position, so I'll take that. And I know my tire wear over the stint will be probably better compared to the cars ahead, so we have to see how that goes. And you can see as well they are fighting quite a lot, so my plan was to just stay smart and keep a little bit of a gap, because especially in the third sector, as I said, it can get quite messy. You can see there are cars off the track and they were 3 wide for a second, so we just wait on a mistake of the cars ahead. As you can see, Finn goes for the inside. We go for a really huge cutback in order to have a good exit. We are now side by side with Alex. He squeezes us onto the right, but he always leaves a little bit of space, which is really nice from him, and I would do the same for him as well. And we are not really going for the inside. We just stay out and we stay in P8, although Big C is now really close to us, and He might think about a move on the inside. He's going for it. He's braking really deep, and unfortunately he hit our car. And we have to see if we are able to get this position back. But somehow we really have a lot of understeer as Tim dives up on our inside in the fast left-hander, which is normally not a overtaking opportunity. And we try to stay close to him. We're not thinking about a move on the inside here because it's too dangerous. You can crash there quite easily, but as I said, I was not completely happy with the move from Big C. I know he's a really cool guy, and I know it wasn't on purpose. But in a second you will see what the result of this contact was. And yeah, at the moment we just try to get the position back. We dive up on the inside of Tim and we leave him a little bit of space. And now you can see again we have really a lot of understeer in this left-hander, and this had a reason. I can tell you that I had front wing damage from the dive bomb. You can see here it looks minor. There's just a different green tone, but I can tell you you lose over 5 to 6 tenths due to this little damage. I was understeering too much, especially in the fast corners, and we will see now a replay of the accident as well. You can see I basically had nowhere to go. I left a lot of space, but there was no way for me to evade, which is really unfortunate. And unfortunately this damage cost me a lot of time, and I also got a lot of warnings due to that because I was understeering horribly in basically every corner, especially in turn 1 and in the fast left-handers. I had a lot of problems to keep the car on the track, and yeah, now it's nearly impossible to get closer to the cars ahead. And to be honest, I was quite sad at this point of the race because I knew there was nearly nothing I could have done to avoid it, and now there's nothing I really can do to fight these guys because yeah, I'm a lot slower, and now you can see they are just overtaking me quite easily, and I don't make their life too difficult because I know if I try to defend too hard here it might cost me later. And again, you can see I had to shift in third gear in turn 1 just to make the corner, and this is just something which was not working for me at this point. As Deagle dives up on our inside, we leave him the space. There was a bit of contact, but I think this was rather the game than really our contact because yeah, as I said, I left him quite a bit of space. So my plan was basically to change my wing into the pits and then hopefully try to come back in this race and maybe fight for points if I get lucky with a VC or a safety car. So you can see I changing the wing option to yes as Deagle dives up on our inside, and again we leave him the space. We don't really want to fight too much because we will lose more and more time compared to the cars ahead who are in the points. So let's hope that the pits can save our race and save our wing. And here we are in lap 12. We go into the pits and let's see, do we get a new wing? As it seems, we don't get a new wing despite us having the option on yes, and I'll be honest, at this point I was really angry because this damage costs me over 5 tenths a lap and we have over 23 laps remaining, which means that changing a wing would be a good idea, to be honest. And yeah, somehow the game decided to not change our wing, which means that we now have to deal with a destroyed wing or a partly destroyed wing for 2/3 of the race, which is really painful. And to be honest, at this point I was thinking about quitting but quitting is actually not something I really like, and I try to avoid it at any cost, because I always think there's something you can fight for, as Dominic dives up on our inside and we don't really make his life too difficult as well. We just hope that we get really lucky sometimes as we hit his car a bit. I misjudged the braking there, but there was not too much contact as Finn dives up on our inside, and we are now going side by side through the left-hander, and again side by side through the next left-hander. We leave him the space and he's just able to go around the outside with his improved downforce. And yeah, now we are in P10, but there were faster cars approaching from the back, and this was basically what I was saying earlier. We just need a little bit of luck, but at the moment it seems that we can't really get this luck. But to be honest, I won't give up. I think if you work hard, then sooner or later the success will come, and it's just about staying patient and improving from race to race, learning more and more, and maybe I can get a little bit more luck in the future races and get better results there as well, as we have a cool fight with Jathan. He's a really cool guy, and it's always a lot of fun to battle him, and at least this was something that made me happy, that I was able to fight at least a little bit in this race. So not everything in this race was bad. So let's see, we have just a few laps remaining. We are now in the second to last lap, and we are going around the outside just to have a little bit of fun. And we also have a few cars behind us, and I think we also have a few penalties which were due to the understeering, which I told you earlier, and we are now braking really late, but unfortunately we are not able to make the move stick, so we have to be patient into the last lap now. And again, we are really close. Are we able to get the move now? We're getting closer and closer on the straight. We are side by side. We brake really late. He's braking much later. He goes wide, and we go for the cutback, which means that we gain the position up into P11, which is at least something, I guess. And now it's about trying to stay in P11. Maybe if we have a little bit of luck, then we might get P10 due to penalties, but as you can see, we are in P10 and at the end in P11, so the 9-second penalty didn't really help. And Tim was able to win the race at the end, so congratulations to him. He's a really cool guy, and I'm happy for him when he's up there. And of course, congrats to Ollie and Michael as well. Both did a fantastic job, really consistent as always. And here you can see the drivers table. After the 9 rounds, we dropped down to 6th place, but I think all is not lost. The season is really long, and I'm sure with a bit of luck we will turn it around as always. And that was the race. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.